But I'm gonna talk to Stan Houston, and I think we have him on the line right now. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, all the listeners, BKS1 Radio, Storm Morning Show. I want y'all to put your hands together and welcome actor Stan Houston. Stan, how you doing? How's everything going?
Man, y'all keep late hours up there.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I was just talking about your performance in the movie Selma. First, let me say you did an incredible job.
Thank you. It was an experience, I tell you.
And talk to me about that, and tell the listeners, because I gave them a little background on the character that you played, Jim Clark. Where was Jim from, and where are you from?
I am originally from Southwest Georgia, but about 12 years ago, before I started acting, I had a business, and we moved to a little small town in Coffee County, Alabama, called Elba, and that is where Jim Clark was born and raised, and where he died.
Wow!
And in the old South Georgia saying, "Who'd have thunk it?"
Wow! And you've been acting now for about 6 years, right?
Yeah, I started in '08, just on a fluke. My daughter and I took a acting class together with a great friend of my dad's, Ralph Wilcox, who was a big character actor back in the '70s, and he was on Good Times, the Jeffersons, and he offered an acting class for free, and we took it and got in a little independent movie, and it kind of took off from there.
Now, take me to when you got the phone call, or what was it that made you try out for this movie? Did you get a phone call, or did you search it out?
No, actually, my agent, Joy Purvis, who was in Atlanta, she called a couple of times begging me to audition, and I refused to do it. And being in the same town, I knew the flack that I would get from, I knew some of his distant kin live here. Some of them were so-called friends. And
right.
Plus, it's such a dark character, and that is not me. I wasn't raised like that, and I just didn't want to do it. So third time, she finally talked me into it, and I drove to Atlanta and met with Ava, and I met with Cynthia Stillwell, who was the casting director here in Atlanta, and it was actually my birthday. It was that day.
Wow.
And and Ava, I told her, I said, before I left, I said, well, before I read for her, I said, it would be a nice birthday present, just kidding around. And when I got through, she stood up and shook my hand and said, "Happy birthday." And
wow.
And I said, well, that might be a good sign. So that following week, my agent called me and asked me, could I ride a horse? And I said, yeah, sure, I can ride a horse. Hadn't been on a horse in 30 years. But,
wow.
She goes, I'll call you back. She called me back about 20 minutes later. She goes, well, hello, Sheriff Jim Clark.
Oh.
So that's how I got it.
Wow.
Let's
clap it up for that. Now, I can imagine, because you said before you kind of really didn't want to do it, but how did you prepare for this role, and what did you have to study to get into that type of character?
Yeah.
I dug up every bit of footage I could on him, and read every article I could on him, and watched. The thing that really made me decide, if you got YouTube, you can see what he did. But there's some other stuff out there. It's hard to find, but the thing that made up my mind was he did an interview a few years before he died. He had no remorse. He denied everything he did. He finally admitted that he hit C.T. Vivian. He admitted that. It's just something just took over on me, is what he said.
Wow.
But that just, to be frank, pissed me off.
Wow.
And I said, I'm going to make up my mind to show what this guy really was. And and still I wasn't 100% committed. I was, afraid how I'd be perceived. I mean, you're playing this awful guy in front of 1,500 African American extras,
right.
background actors. You're going to be a little paranoid, and being in such a huge project, working opposite of Oprah, and awesome, incredible, best actor in the world in my book, David Oyelowo. You're a little nervous, but we did rehearsals, and you probably read about this, but this was a pivotal moment, and this shows what close family we were as a cast. We did rehearsals first time, and that's the first time the cast seen me in character. And I looked over, and Tessa and Coleman were crying.
Wow.
And I lost it. And Ava came over and kissed me on the cheek, gave me little words of encouragement. She goes, "You can do this." And you got to excuse me, my voice is a little rough. We had a good time at Selma this past weekend, but but at the end of the rehearsal before we went out on set, and it's the courthouse scene, where I'm standing up there with my double chin and pot back.
Right.
And Coleman tells everybody to leave, and he set the cast, and we gather in a circle like we usually do before we go to set. And then we were praying, and he prayed to God to let's lift up Stan so he can play this part and portray this story the way it needs to be told. And
right.
I really lost it then, and you felt 100% presence of God in that room.
Wow.
And it was each cast member in line. They gathered in a line, and one by one gave me hugs and words of encouragement. And I said, "I'm done. Let's get it on. I mean, it's time for the world to know what this guy did and what happened in Selma. Not just reading it out of a book. Let's show what happened."
Absolutely.
And that I was committed after that.
Now, here's what we want to know. We kind of was talking about this before you called in, but how? I mean, just the fact that you had to hit Oprah Winfrey in the movie, like, what was going through your head
when you hit Oprah?
You know what? Actually, I never did hit her. She beat the hell out of me for 2.5 days. And those sound effects, I don't think there's much sound effects when she hits the back of my head because, Oprah packs a punch.
Wow.
And, actually the scene was I was supposed to straddle her and come down with the club, but it worked out best because I used to end up using the ball cam.
Right.
And it's so much more dramatic, and I think it made for a good scene. But I was praying. But the biggest thing was saying the N-word for me. Excuse me. Because the entire cast waited 3 days. Everybody's sitting there waiting on me to say it.
Wow.
Sheriff Park has got to say it.
Wow.
And the genius of Ava, she loves surprises. And she loves to get that natural reaction from the cast and background actors. So probably the last scene we did, that I did, she whispered in my ear, she goes, "I want you to say, get that woman." And I said, "Oh, no. I'm just like, it's Oprah. I can't say it. No."
Wow.
You got to say it. She had to talk me into saying it. So I did it, and it was kind of lackluster because I had to send up saying it like 15 times. And but we got the reaction she wanted, and you can see it on film. Little things like when I fire that gun, that's a full load 357 Magnum blank. That's not sound effect. And she did that, didn't tell any of the cast members, none of the extras, including the horse I was on. But didn't tell them how loud it was going to be. So you see that reaction. And that's what makes her amazing.
Wow, yeah. When I seen it, I was just like, I really got chills. And I saw how great an actor you was because I did my research and a lot of the cast members love you. They got a lot of love for you and everything. And I saw some of the pictures where y'all hanging out together, and I said, "Now, see, that's a great actor." Because just even talking to you right now, you're totally the opposite of what the character, was
Oh, yeah.
was called for, but some people
Yeah, I hope so.
and but you know this as an actor though. Some people are real close to their character.
Yeah.
Well, that's the method actors, and if I did that, I'd be completely nuts.
Right.
You'd be interviewing me from Milledgeville, Georgia, right now, the local mental institute we have. No, I mean it's funny because I'm happy-go-lucky. We kept it easy offset. We had a good time. We're breakdancing, Common's breakdancing in the green room between takes. I mean, we just had a great time. But as soon as she said cut, I had to snap out of that character, and the people I'd been knocking over, I'm helping back up.
Right.
Making sure their knees are okay, making sure I didn't hurt them there. And one lady told me, and this is funny, after about 18 takes, bless her heart, she was on the front row. It's almost 100 degrees in Marietta, Georgia. We're trying to pretend it's 30. Everybody's wearing wool clothes, polyester.
Oh, my goodness.
And finally, we say, cut. She goes, Sheriff Clark, you can have your damn street. I don't even want to vote.
Wow.
But, we're still family. I made a new family on the set of Selma. A lot of us still talk once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Just talked to Wendell yesterday. So Omar, I got new brothers and sisters. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, and that's another thing. How did your family receive the movie, and your friends? How did they receive it, and what did they say to you when they saw it?
My true friends, and of course my family loved it. It's kind of odd you're seeing people from your hometown of Blakely, Georgia, is where I'm from.
Right.
They're all taking pictures of themselves in front of the poster or the marquee there at the theater. Who would have done that? And just because I'm in it, and
right.
It's amazing. But locally, this is a very southeast Alabama is a little different. This is a very closed society here. If you're not from here originally, you're pretty much treated as an outsider anyway. But
right.
I've got negative feedback. I've been called the N-word, N-lover. That's what it does.
Really? Wow.
Oprah's boy.
Even though you beat her.
One lady in a grocery store told me, says, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Says, I knew Jim Clark, and he was a good man. And I said, ma'am, you're entitled to your opinion, but if you got a computer and YouTube, I think I could change your mind.
Right.
And, but other than that, it's been great. I mean, my biggest fear was the African American community. I didn't want to get the hell beat out of me at Walmart, and see the movie, thinking, you want to make sure everybody knows you're just an actor. But it's overwhelming love from the African American community, especially here, saying thank you. Finally,
right.
Somebody's telling the story the way it needs to be told.
Right.
And you represented it so well, the way that guy was.
Absolutely.
So I mean, it's been great. It's changed my life, man.
Was there anything?
Changed my life.
Was there anything about your capability to portray this role that surprised you?
To get in that darker place, I mean, it did surprise me, and the mannerisms I could do, because I mean, I got two football coaches in high school that were big influences on my life. I love them to death, but when they got angry, you knew that they were mad at you, and you knew you just screwed up. So the mannerisms I used from them, but the hatred that you see in my eyes and all that, I kind of wanted to. It's hard to explain. I was turning around as if Jimmy Lee had that club in his hand, and
right.
what he really wanted to say. The roles are flipped. It's his chance to be the one that's dominant.
Okay.
And that did surprise me. Yeah.
Right. So now that you're aware of these new capabilities that you have, what are your plans after this?
I don't know. Why don't y'all find me a job? No. Definitely continue acting. I just finished South of Hell with executive producers James Manis, who's an incredible producer. It stars Mina Savari from American Beauty. It's kind of a gothic horror drama. It's WE TV is their first stab at the drama. on the first couple episodes on that. They unfortunately wrote me out of the rest. I guess my character went in. But we've got a Free Bird. It just came out on Hulu. It's kind of a redneck 40-year-old version of American Pie. That came out, and then we got some stuff with friends of mine that I've worked with on Selma. We're working on stuff, and hopefully it's to come out pre-production late February. So,
You did a movie with Reese Witherspoon?
I did.
Okay.
Devil's Knot. Colin Firth, Reese Witherspoon, Stephen Moyer, Vampire Bill from True Blood. It's about the West Memphis 3 murders in Arkansas back in the early 90s. I played one of the bad detectives that pretty much sealed the 3 teens' fates that were wrongly accused of the murders. I ended up playing the asshole. I mean, can I play asshole?
Yes, you could.
But I guess I play a good one. I don't know.
A good asshole, yeah.
Yeah. Because you know what? When they sent your promo pics over and everything, I said, "Dude is smooth. He cool like that." See, I was so used to this uniform, and we're visual right now. I'm showing the listeners you and Selma, but when I saw your promo pic, I said, "Look at this smooth."
All leaned in.
Yeah, leaned in and everything.
Ruth did a great job with the wardrobe. Clark wore his clothes so tight, and then told me to gain a little extra weight, and all you see is puzzle cut and double chin, and I don't even think I have a neck in the movie, but that's the way you look, so I guess it worked.
So now when you actually met and talked to Oprah and everything, did you leave that conversation with her like just feeling real good about yourself and what you're doing, like feeling real good about yourself and what you're doing, and like
you're in a movie with Oprah.
Yeah, I'm in a movie with Oprah, and she may hook me up with something else.
Done?
Yes.
It's I'm going to Pittsburgh February the 5th. Well, I'll be there on the 6th talking to inner city school kids, about the movie and race relations, and everybody needs a dream, and don't ever let anybody tell you can't do something or you're crazy as hell. Why are you going to do that? I mean, you don't stand a chance. Right. Well, the ones that told me that in 2008, they're not saying much now.
Right. Yes.
My movie that I just did with Oprah Winfrey, one of the greatest up-and-coming directors, probably going to be one of the best ever. Ava DuVernay, one of the best actors in the world, David Oyelowo. But the classics like Martin Sheen, Cuba Gooding Jr., that was me that was in there. So what was that you told me 6 years ago that I couldn't do something?
Yes.
Yes.
So these kids that I'm going to be talking to, if I'm going to tell them, if somebody tells you you can't do something, they're lying.
They're your audience to be proven wrong. Stan, what were you doing for a living when you took this acting class 6 years ago?
I own an insurance agency.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you have...
That's exciting. So I've been an actor for about 20 years because you got to be a hell of an actor to sell that stuff.
Wow.
But, yeah, we all, actors, unless we're Tom Cruise, we all have to have a little insurance income coming in. So
Absolutely. Well, you did an amazing job. And I know great things are definitely in your future. So anybody that ever, yes, and anybody that ever said you couldn't do it, I know right now they like, Stan, could I borrow $5? Just $3.
Oh, I got best friends I haven't heard from in 30 years come out of the woodwork.
So Stan, if we have any,
I was impressed that somebody told me that I followed Vivica Fox.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, she's on next.
Okay.
Yeah. She's
great.
on.
Well, hey, Vivica, how are you? Hope you work.
So, Stan, for any of our listeners who may be interested in getting into acting and they have no idea where to start, what kind of advice would you give them?
You pad your resume before and get some good headshots. And by pad your resume, find local colleges that have a drama department or film department, because those graduate students have to make films to graduate, but they give you credit, so that's credit towards your resume. Go out and get that padded before you think you're going to chase the dream.
Okay.
I've been lucky.
Wow.
Not everybody's lucky,
Right.
but if you get the talent, somebody's going to find you.
Okay.
Believe me.
Absolutely. And well, it's definitely been a pleasure talking to you and just speaking with you about your whole experience with being in the movie Selma and everything. Is there anything you want to promote or let the people know before you go?
Well, it's kind of ironic you asked that. It's kind of starting actors, look out for Rated ETA. It's going to be a new website for up-and-coming actors. It gives them the information of what to do. I'm their new corporate spokesperson for that. But the biggest thing, I encourage everybody to come to Selma the weekend of March 7th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm going to be there on the 8th. We're going to march. And we're going to have a lot of underprivileged children are going to be there that I'm marching with. And I'm hoping the president and his wife may be coming. But a lot of celebrities are going to be there. If you got any way to come to Selma, this town needs your support. They are still hurting economically. As soon as we leave, it goes back to the old days. So, I mean, we need to do something, especially in the Black Belt here in the South and in Selma, because they really need your help and support. And hopefully this film's going to do it for them, too. But it's 50th anniversary. Be down there.
Well, definitely. We definitely going to try to make it down there. It sounds like it's going to be an amazing
We have fun
experience.
in Selma now. There's good people down in Selma.
Is it? Well, see, I'm glad you're telling me that because I know nothing about Selma, but from what I see from every MLK movie.
And based
Well,
on that,
just stick close to Sheriff Clark.
stay close to North Terminal Airport.
Oh man, it's definitely a pleasure talking to you, Stan. And anytime you do a project or work on something, you're welcome to come back here on BKS1 Radio on the Storm Morning Show. We appreciate you, man.
Pleasure,
Man,
Stan.
enjoy it. Thank you so much. And boy, y'all keep late hours, but good show. Thank you.
All right, take care. We're about to actually run your clip right now, so the listeners is about to watch and see your clip.
Oh Lord. Thank you so much.
Take care, Stan. Stay blessed.
Yes. All right, boy.
All right. That again, listeners, that was Stan Houston from the movie Selma. Let's clap it up. Amazing talking to this man and just what he had to go through to prepare for that role.